everybody. Welcome back to Nbpoli Pod after a 2-week hiatus. We're here in Menaquist, the unceded territory of the Wistaqua, Pescatomakati, and Mi'kmaq peoples, also known as St. John, New Brunswick.
St. Jiggity.
Nbpoli Pod is back, baby.
Keep saying that.
Keep saying that, but like,
and then we only come back for.
But that's like Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney's been back like at least 15 times.
You're saying we're like Paul McCartney.
Yeah, St. John's.
That's us.
Greatest duo.
I'm Brent Harris. This is Joanna Killen.
Hello.
You're constant surveyors of Nbpoli podcast or NB Politics. Now, what bi-weekly commentators? I
got a job.
You know what? It is what it is, folks.
Job.
You've got a brand new job. I'm 6 weeks of a cohort that I'm teaching at NBCC.
You're in week 4 now.
This is coming out of week. Yes, we're going into week 5. So this is the end of week 4 tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm swinging a hammer every day or training or whatever. And you're traveling all over the province to get the Alzheimer's Society.
Yeah, get our little outreach team up and going.
Yep.
I don't even know if I'm allowed to plug that, but I will because this is my podcast and I'm allowed to do whatever I want. But yeah, it's so exciting. We're building out this team of people who are going to be educating people who are either living with dementia or their care partners in strategies in how to live better lives. I was at a really awesome event today for caregivers over at a nursing home here in St. John, and there was laughter and joy and everyone was eating together and music and fun, and it really is not the end of the world when you learn about a diagnosis like that. And the Alzheimer's Society has been here to support folks for over 30 years in this region.
Almost as old as me.
Yeah. It's wild. And they're all across Canada. And if you ever have someone in your life who's you might think is struggling, or there's a lot of stigma around this, especially for our aging population who think like losing your cognitive ability is somehow means you're less than. It's not true. So if there's ever an issue, they're out there to support people. You can call them and they can guide you through all kinds of navigation and strategies and everything else. So
for free.
Yes, for free. So anyway.
Thank you, province of New Brunswick. I guess that's a good federal health.
It is federal and provincial. Upgrade. It's like a whole partnership there, which is awesome. So
I've been doing a lot of vicarious learning about society.
Yeah,
we've been in Nova Scotia about it, but so this, if you're wondering why we're not as frequent as we once were, that is the reason why. We also had a cancellation along the way. We were supposed to get Jordan Leichnitz.
It's really going to happen though,
but it's just got delayed. She got so Jordan Leichnitz, for those of you who don't know, works for this group, and we'll talk to her next week. That is funded from the German Social Democratic Party.
Yeah.
And
there's all kinds of Ottawa.
It's so interesting when you hear about how the rest of the world works. So Germany, if you're a federally and provincially and municipally elected party, which the SDP certainly is.
Yes.
They have mayors, they have premiers, they have chancellors, they've had chancellors. Anyway, the federal government, so you know how we give a vote subsidy, the federal government gives them money to only spend on international relations. So engaging with like government and partisan politics cross borders. So Jordan's position, and she'll describe that, is that so when the German defense minister comes to Canada,
you need to welcome, and
all of a sudden Jordan got sucked into that, and then we're in budget season, and then so we lost a guest, the comeback, Matt Wynot, coming from Nova Scotia. We're going to talk about the NDP. If you've been tracking the last few weeks and even up to the next few weeks for this budget, you know how important the vote from the NDP is, because they're sort of the only ambiguous team.
Yeah.
The Conservatives are like, hell no, never.
Blocks,
and we're going to talk about the budget too, but anyway, those are some reasons. Those are some of our excuses.
Well, we call it Clementine Week, and it'll be
Clementine Week.
Orange.
Orange Week. I see.
So we have never really given the NDP a lot of time.
Well, I mean,
we had Alex on.
Who are they? Yeah, we've had Alex White on during the election, but I mean, like they're hard. You can't find them.
Yeah, so we're gonna get some national presence there next week, which is so exciting. But now more to, do you want to hit the budget first?
Okay, so we got a few things to talk about this week. We didn't even talk about some of the emerging information, economic developments out of here, St. John.
Yes, there's been a big announcement to do with the Industrial Park in Laurenville.
So our most listened to podcast recently was, of course, the Laurenville episode.
Yes.
Hundreds of views on that one, and listens and everything. So let's start there.
Yeah, and let's go and outward.
Let's move out.
Yeah, because I want to talk about Mamdani, so we'll go all the way to the outskirts.
So we start local.
Yes.
Then we'll go provincial.
Yeah.
Then we'll go national.
And then we'll go international. Okay, perfect. Maybe we could always do that. These random episodes we don't know what to do with.
Think local, act global.
So we had a presentation come through town from Beacon AI, an Irish startup, if you will. It's like a year-and-a-half old company.
No, it's 4 years old.
2023.
So
coming up. Volta is 4 years old.
So Volta's anyway. Volta Grid.
This can all be confirmed.
But they have 2 other facilities. Keep going. Beacon AI.
There's 2 facilities that are come together to put in this, proposal essentially to our entire city. They had an open house last night in the community center in Laurenville. They presented to council and a bunch of other, economic development types the night before, same presentation. And so we just got a chance to ask questions, and they were going out to the community. This is their community engagement part, because they have to do an environmental impact assessment. That is the next stage. But essentially, it's a kind of an interesting story where these 2 gentlemen came from. If you want to.
Yeah, we got Joe. What's his name? I'm just forgetting his last name.
You start with
the CEO of Beacon AI out of Dublin. Originally started with data center development in Dublin. Then moved to Calgary, have a data center there, and more developments happening. And now they're teamed up with Volta Grid, which is it's an interesting company, because Volta Grid really merged onto the scene 5 years ago from what Nathan O was telling. And interestingly, Nathan O, the CEO of Volta Grid, is a St. Johnner. He is one of the O's. I played rugby with his cousin, Cam. Lachlan O is a filmmaker here. Worked with Hemmings House. He's done his own independent work now. He helps organize the Moonlight Bazaar. If you know anything about the Moonlight Bazaar, it's kind of like New Brunswick's premier street party. Every year it gets about 20,000 human beings to litter 5 shut down streets with big, huge moons and Mars hanging up, and everybody dresses up in cool space costumes, and the kids love it, and it goes super late. So there's rave parties and everything. Anyway, cool connection, right? So Volta Grid really was a company that started up in order to go in and help bring modular power production facilities to oil and gas sector to drive down the emissions, right? Because most of the time that oil and gas sector used really dirty electrification. Obviously, they have high electricity demands on different oil production facilities or refinement, whatever. And Volta Grid chose to put itself there and say, we're going to drive down emissions in this industry. We're going to use things like modular power production through natural gas. Obviously, it's not renewable, but it is super clean. So they've hit a 95% abatement rate, which has allowed them to put these modular power production, and they kind of look like little boxes. I mean, they're not little, but they look very interesting. Excuse me, I have a cold, by the way. But they've been able to do this right in downtown San Antonio. So they've been most successful throughout Texas. They've got multiple facilities set up, and now they're branching into data center, because essentially data centers have huge energy demands, right? And what they do is they come in and they provide a sort of a bolt-on power production to a facility so that it doesn't become grid intensive. And of course, renewable energy is good, but it has the problem of load balancing and constant load usage and things like that. So anyway, this is kind of their first foray. They're partnered up with Beacon AI. And
who is Joseph Shovlin.
Shovlin. Yeah. Thank you. Shovlin.
So Irish gent. Yeah. And he seems like the engineer type.
Very technical guy.
In regards to like how you build these AI centers.
Yeah.
You were calling it it's almost like a mall. Like they need a customer, right? They need someone to come in and actually use the space, and whose chips are they? We may never actually know that, because that will be Beacon's tenant.
Yeah, essentially just like a mall for retail.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. The chips are the tenant, whoever owns those.
Yeah, and whoever the big U.S. tech company is.
Yeah.
So it could be Meta, it could be Google, could be Microsoft, it could be Amazon. Anybody who needs mass amounts of data, like rapid deployment and usage. And the question we have to ask ourselves is, why in God's name would St. John be targeted for such a high-tech new industry? Now, we're going to get to the idea that data center stuff is a boom and bust. It's like
it could be.
It's a bubble, right?
Yeah.
Everybody thinks it's a bubble and it's going to burst. Blah blah blah. Anyway,
it's a race against time. It's like the railroad of the 1800s. It really is. It's the next thing that is going to transform the world. And listen, do I think I would love to live in a Dune world where AI doesn't exist?
Yeah, we've killed them off with the Bachelorian crusade.
Right. Wouldn't that be amazing? That's not the choice that's being made. It's not the choice that's being made by healthcare, by governments, by humans, people in every part of the world that you can imagine. Like we're told it's a race against, China to get more data centers. But even I was thinking about it, it's like insurance, tax, what else? Our healthcare information, our schools information, everything now is on these chips. Yeah. Like it or lump it. We are no longer a paper society,
or even a digital backup society.
Right.
Like that was the big move in the 2000s.
Right.
Digital backup, digital storage, well,
this is the smaller footprint. Given all the paths that we've gone through, we are now going in this exponential growth stage once again, which I've argued on this podcast a million times is totally unsustainable.
Sure.
So,
but if we don't want data centers, we got to stop using data.
Your phone, the places,
log off Facebook. Don't do online banking. Don't do any online insurance work. Eventually, all of those systems are going to come together and they're going to reach the limitations that we've had in local servers. And I mean, there's always been server centers, like massive centers with servers. That's essentially what a data center is. We've just all of a sudden the need for data has jumped so much because of AI.
Yeah, exactly. It needs more power behind it.
So listen, politically, we are supportive. Our council was unanimously supportive. There
was no vote. It was just like, here it is, what it is. And now they got the same presentation. So I don't want anyone misconstruing that.
Sure.
It was the same presentation that we saw with the economic development people that people saw last night. And I understand that it turned into a town hall again. So.
Oh yeah, the folks from Lorneville came in and said, you're going to answer, one person's going to speak, you're going to sit there and answer questions. Of course, these community engagement sessions are never designed to be a town hall.
I think it did look from the photos that it did, like there was a microphone. So that's good.
Okay.
Improvement over the last time.
Yeah. Town halls technically need translation, accessibility requirements. Town halls are an official event that need to hit official standards. So,
and maybe that's what should have been planned in the first place, but I don't know what is gone in that space. So anyway, moving on to the next level.
Well, hold on a second. No, let's keep talking about data centers and stuff.
I feel like we've talked a lot about them, but
we're only 12 minutes in. We've only been talking about it for like 8 minutes.
We have a whole province to talk about.
Well, we can move on if you want. I do think people will want to know, is this just going to go? Is this just like big promises? Because
we can't know yet. It's too early. And I think there's still a lot that hasn't gone online that will. There's just endless things that are still, I know, legally. Let's think about legal paperwork and things like that. Once people get more comfortable with things not being, going anywhere, I just think it's going to exponentially grow for the next probably 10 years, 15, 20.
Will this company go up and not come to St. John ever? Will it be a broken promise like always? That's what some people.
That's a good question.
So the reason I think it won't is because they've already done it 3 times. With these this company has already built 3 data centers in Calgary and Dublin. Massive projects. They take years, and they've only been around really for 3 years since building their first one. So they're a bit of an innovative approach. And the way that they were talking about it, as soon as you mentioned data centers on Wall Street, all of a sudden nobody has any upper limits of what they're willing to spend. So this is a $2 billion project, 200 jobs plus. It's about 1,500 plus construction
it's
jobs.
Hard to fathom.
All the construction jobs will easily be making 80 to 100K per year during construction. The constant jobs afterwards, which you have the power plant and the data center, they're $150,000 to $200,000 a year jobs. It's a big deal for St. John, which has been industrially sort of stagnant. We've been working on our pulp mill and refinery and a few other sites for the last 40 years. We haven't added really much new, but all of a sudden we've got all this federal money to get the port up to a certain place of potential and rail expansion, and now here we are. So, for all the naysayers who said, oh, this is dumb, whenever no one's ever going to go there, no business is going to come here, the fiber optic advantage in New Brunswick is interesting. I never knew how much of an advantage we had. And they give credit to Nbtel for that, which is kind of a cool story.
Yeah, no, I guess it's like, right straight down to Boston. It's one of these fiber lines that are appealing to these types of people who are going to be moving all kinds of information. So
moving it quick. So
hard to imagine.
That's what's going on. If it gets past this process, they're not looking for special deals from whatever. We're not looking for tax deals, but just a forecast to the federal level. We did just find out that the federal government has some measures that they've put in place for new factories opening up, and
tax breaks.
Write-offs for new machinery. Right?
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Okay. So that's an recent economic development news. If that happens, it'll be, I don't know, has there ever been a $2 billion project in the last little while in New Brunswick?
Old Next Gen with the $1 billion, not $2. I don't know if there's ever been a $2 billion project in this province. Maybe if it's like priced that way 40 years ago.
Maybe the refinery would have been probably over time.
Over time, for sure. They put in tons of money into the refinery, for sure.
Yeah.
But like all at once, and for it to go up
in 18 months.
Yeah.
Like the way they're talking, if a tech giant sees that a data center can come online by 2028, they're good. If you say 2029, you get to the bottom of the pile, you may never happen. So it's a race. It's an East versus West race right now. And for whatever reason, the West has this strategic advantage on advanced chips. The Chinese can't reproduce them yet. So that's for international news. But anyway,
I know. Yeah, you've been listening to a lot of the grander scheme, because there is a grander scheme here, and we're playing a small. What is the acreage? I don't know, like 80 acre.
It's a 6-acre power plant on top of is it 80 acre full area?
Until we're working all the time, and we can't fact check ourselves from 2 days ago.
Look it up here.
Anyways,
it's a pretty big footprint, but it's
a kilometer away from any home.
Yeah.
So, next level.
What's next?
Next, we're at the provincial level, and there's been a few announcements going on. They're back sitting.
Oh yeah, they've been back for a few weeks.
Yeah. So, but it's been kind of, I'd say, like quiet-ish, like little things here and there. I heard we're getting rid of license plate stickers.
Okay.
Brent wasn't happy about that.
Well, I don't care, but it's just like, really? This is a transformative announcement? I don't know. Ontario hasn't had license plate stickers. I lived there in 2015. They never had license plate stickers.
Well, we're just a little behind sometimes.
I mean, the big last thing we did was Chris Austin's like license plate elimination strategy, which was, let's get rid of the front license plate. I don't know. These seem like podunk announcements and podunk things, but there's other stuff happening. There's a healthcare reform underway.
That's exciting. There's lots going on there. Lots of different committees forming, talking, getting feedback to them. Much like this provincial tax one that just came back, we saw some of the results from that. Basically, everyone's not happy about their taxes when it comes to property tax, which we all knew. I think. Who is? I know. Nobody's happy with the current system, and they want to change, but they didn't really give any solutions in there of how they'd like to see it change. So we'll see what they come back with once I'm sure they do another listening tour.
They're certainly not doing industrial tax reform.
No. We're putting heavy machinery to bed, I'm sure.
Well, and we're just going to keep letting the refinery pay less taxes than the hospital. That's cool.
We'll just retire, We don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. But provincially,
PCNB.
Yeah, the Progressive Conservative Party, I think, is the one that's made a bit of a bigger noise here recently. And we've been wondering for months.
Yeah, what's happening?
What's happening with these guys? So they had their AGM, and who showed up at the AGM?
Former Premier Mr. Higgs.
Mr. Higgs. He's back. He's back. He's still in town.
Yeah, I didn't think he would ever come back.
I don't know why he would. It's almost like
it's a mystery.
Can you imagine if Stephen Harper just sort of stayed around for the Conservative Party of Canada?
It's kind of like what Poli did. He just waited around in the house.
More like Andrew Scheer. Andrew Scheer just he was the leader of the opposition. Now he's just a backbench. Well, not he's a shadow cabinet guy, but anyway, it's
lingering.
Yeah, it's a bit bizarre.
But I mean, it shows us obviously didn't bruise his ego that much.
I don't know. He was one of the big things that came out of that was Glenn Savoy at the mic, sort of wagging a finger at progressive conservatives for helping liberals win, and Blaine Higgs going off and saying, I see people in this room, and this is my paraphrase. So go and read the article. The TJ's got an article out. There's a couple other articles that were written about the AGM with some journalists in there. But my big takeaway was that Blaine was not happy to see Greens in the room and Liberals in the room, and basically raising the alarm like the party's being hijacked by alternative interests. And one of the things that we've said, the Progressive Conservative Party in New Brunswick has had a problem for probably 6 years.
An identity crisis.
Like, they've been continuously shrinking the tent to the point that when they were in government, they lost half a dozen ministers.
Yeah, exactly.
So the tent became so small and so like insular that their own ministers are like, I don't want anything to do with this. And then there was the rebels, and there was a big fight, and then they threatened a snap election, and they got scared because they knew they were going to lose, and then they ran and lost worse than, I mean, we knew they were going to lose bad.
Yeah.
We challenged the polls. We commented on why the polls were probably wrong about like overestimating their support, and they were. They were off by 2 points beyond the margin of error. So that was a big deal. And obviously it decimated their seat count.
Yep.
So, you kind of look at that and you're like, okay, well, wouldn't the response be, okay, how do we get back to government?
Yeah. What's our path?
Is it demonizing people from other parties who are showing up at your AGM?
I have to think you'd want the tent to be big.
Oh, you'd want new people to come.
Yeah.
Because the people that got you there aren't going to keep you there.
No, I know exactly the green you're talking about who's in the room. And like...
Oh, who is it?
Brian Beaton.
Or Boucher.
Boucher, sorry.
Brian Boucher.
Sorry, oh my God, no. R.I.P.
Right. Brian Boucher.
Brian Boucher, yes.
Oh, yeah,
who ran as candidate in my cohort.
That's right.
Yeah, so he's come out as a conservative now, and that was definitely surprising, but also not, because like the conservatives have a chance to reinvent themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that people see that, and there's certain things that we believed in the Greens that were actually weirdly similar to the conservatives.
Yeah.
When it came to like, a penny of prevention is worth a pound of cure kind of idea. Like, I know they weren't great at that, obviously, but in their heads they were.
Yeah. Sure.
And that's what they believed. Because I had many chats with conservatives along those lines. They really did want to go upstream and figure out what the bigger issue was.
I think from an economic development perspective, we'd be more in line with what progressive conservatives would think about as far as economic development. Sure, we probably don't want to go frack again, but like Blaine did. But when you think about
it's all messy right now, though, because they don't, like, again, I don't know what they stand for anymore. So what is it? And like, listen, my father was involved in, as we all know, and she's come on and talked about and felt the same, that the party wasn't what it was 10 years ago. So what are you?
We do have some leadership contenders in the race. We have one, at least, for sure.
Yes, he's announced. Daniel
Alain is back.
Yeah.
One of the original folks to push back against Blaine.
Yes, he was. He was the original one to push back against Blaine.
Who was the one up in Sussex that broke rank with the PCs back in 21?
Oh, Gauvin, who's in there?
Yeah, Gauvin joined the Liberals.
Yes.
Yeah. So
he was the original.
He was the OG.
He crossed the floor, though.
Yeah, he was the OG.
Daniel didn't cross the floor. He just stepped back.
He's like, I'm done with you guys.
Yeah.
Now he's come back. He's running for leadership. He's a Bernard Lord type of candidate, I would say.
Well, he was a deputy minister back in those.
Yeah.
And I believe the Allward days as well. Maybe. No.
Yeah, he's been pretty politically active his whole life.
For sure.
He's French. He's got a Moncton connection. He's part of what we would call down here the Moncton Mafia.
Yeah, right.
Which is it's just shorthand for like how aligned there seem to be across different groups up there.
Yeah.
Council and Moncton Council works well with their provincial candidates, and then their MLAs works well with the federal party, and that might might be cross-partisan lines, right? Which is interesting because you got Dom LeBlanc.
It feels like a very Moncton first effort.
Yeah.
That they have there. It's pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah, and they've got the results to show for it.
Yeah.
Right? The other rumored leadership contender is.
Oh, I don't know.
Chris Austin.
Right.
Former leader of the People's Alliance of New Brunswick. Because he's out there saying, Daniel Alain is not the type of candidate. He pushed back on Blaine's leadership and he undermined this party, and surely we can't let him back. So I might run. He didn't say he would.
No.
He just said I might. And that all came out of one AGM.
Mm-hmm.
Would have loved.
I know. Fly on the wall. Would have been so fun.
I know.
But alas, they probably wouldn't let us in.
No, we would have been one of those cantankerous former Greens who are coming here to hijack the party to take them to better and bigger places. But
listen,
they don't want to go there.
No, not right now anyway. So
yeah.
Other than that, it feels like a bit of a quiet session right now, waiting for more announcements to come.
They keep throwing stuff out there, like the social media game's okay. Like we keep seeing announcements, but like
Susan's doing a live. I was on one of her lives the other night, and she was, the gas tax was the big one on the live.
Yeah.
About just exactly that. Like, how is this going to work? What's going on? I heard Mr. Irving was wagging his finger about it. That's a good sign.
Which Mr. Irving? Mr. Irving's dead.
Well, one of the Irving companies was not. I think it was an editorial or like some kind of like piece I saw.
Wouldn't be Jim about oil.
No, it wasn't Jim about oil. It was the oil company.
So whoever the spokesperson was for Irving Oil.
Maybe I'm lying. You could carry on.
No, I agree. There was an article about it, but I don't know who would have been the spokesperson anymore. Because Sarah is not involved.
No.
Arthur's daughter. Anyway, so yeah, it's a little bit like, I guess the question I have of the provincial government.
Yeah, sorry. Irving Oil blasts Holt gas cut. Warning of immediate. Thank you. I know I wasn't crazy. I feel all over the place with this episode. Immediate negative impacts. A refinery could be compelled by subpoena to detail exactly what federal clean fuel regulations
due to its profit margins. It costs it. Yeah, I think that's good. That's a good move. Thank you for pushing against this company who we just blindly believe is barely making any money and needing to have the certain regulations stacked the way they are and needing all the exemptions that they have, whether it be on energy, whether it be on property, whether it be on all the different subsidies that they get. It's about time somebody peek into those books and subpoena some of that information, because what are you going to ask? Like, if you ask me, I don't have any money. I don't have any money to pay taxes. Can I just say, no, I'm not paying my taxes because I don't have any money?
I mean, send them that article.
I would love to. If I could just say, look, my household is barely making it. We need to not pay taxes this year. If that would work.
I mean, they're supposed to be leading examples in the community.
Not corporate citizenship. Anyway, so okay, so the provincial government moving along, got a bunch of stuff going on. I guess what I don't know, what are they trying to do? How are they trying to align with what else is happening in the country? Like Susan gets asked questions. She gets featured on David Cochran's show, CBC, the national, and not the national, sorry, Power and Politics. She gets some airtime here and there. I get surprised every time I hear her. And she's not bad for sure about talking about what's going on in New Brunswick. But let's be clear. 800,000 people is like the tail of the tail. It's like the end of the tail of a 42 million person country.
That's just the reality.
We don't really have a hope in like holding up a flag like David Eby and said our forestry sector is dying. David Eby makes that big announcement, says we're talking way too much about the auto sector and the aluminum sector and steel sector and not enough about the forestry sector because there's way more jobs in the forestry sector. And good point.
Yeah. I hadn't heard that.
David Eby sort of came out and pushed against that a little bit and said, look, we need to be careful.
Yeah, you're being very Ontario centric over there.
Right, yeah.
So so she wouldn't have as much of a voice in those rooms, I guess.
But maybe she could have been at that announcement with David. Maybe she could do one right on the tail end. I just think that it's like, let's be clear, we're never going to get the attention of the federal government, even though we're suffering, even though we're having a difficult time with these tariffs, even though we're very exposed, and St. John's one of the most tariff exposed city in the country. And St. John is also the industrial backbone of the Atlantic corridor, but especially in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
Not to say it's all about St. John, but forestry sector in New Brunswick's a big deal. And it's not like it's astronomically different, except the ownership models in BC are a little more diverse than the ones here.
But again, there's a lot more people there.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just don't know what they're trying to align with, what the advocacy looks like. I find it interesting that all of the things we're seeing out of the provincial government here are domestic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't say that that's a bad thing. Most people are kind of lost in what's happening in the tariff war and the Donald Trump stuff. So I don't know. Maybe that's going to pay dividends for them while all the other premiers are out here like Doug Ford running big ads down in the States and getting blown up about it.
How do you see New Brunswick in the Canadian budget then that just dropped? Or where do you see New Brunswick in
Well,
it?
yeah, that's another question, right? So what are the big buckets in the
we got the
budget?
D&D, that's a huge
Department of
announcement.
National Defense, big increases, big budget drop, big plans.
We got Build Canada.
We got Build Canada
51.
homes, big drops, lots of millions of homes.
We have 16,000 federal jobs cut
this year alone, up to 42,000 over a time period.
Yeah. And then, but the like the housing money's over 5 years, of course.
Of course,
yeah. Everything's relative to that. I always forget that.
So we got national defense.
Yeah.
We've got exposure to trade tariffs. We've got.
I had a little graphic here that was.
We've got the housing piece. We've got now there's also funds set up for the national projects. One of the ones I found interesting about the budget as we move, because these are going to tie, so this will be our transition point to the budget, because how does New Brunswick fit into the budget? Well, let's start with defense.
Okay,
we've got
this here.
Yeah.
Do.
We've got Gagetown.
Yeah.
Gagetown's
$56.6 billion over 5 years to meet NATO targets.
That's getting us to 3% of national GDP on defense.
$51 billion over 10 years for local projects and infrastructure.
There's your national projects. So local projects, infrastructure, huge infrastructure budget, right? Now, to a city like, okay, St. John, guys, we know St. John better. Sorry, we're not better at mentioning other cities, but like infrastructure deficits, St. John has one of the worst. So that could be very good news for a city like ours, which has one of the worst infrastructure deficits in the country. No surprise, we're also the oldest city in the country. It is what it is, right?
But again, $51 billion over 10 years. We're still a small peanut in like this massive bowl of other peanuts whose places have more people in them, and there's like 100 St. John's in Ontario.
Yeah, but
so how do you choose us as the one? Because I get it, but we're also like we're growing in a strange way. We don't have as many opportunities for the expansion of apartment buildings, density. Our town has been notoriously against density. So it's like, how do we become? No, they're open to it.
They spread it.
Spread and up in many ways.
Yeah.
But it just seems like you're not going to be at the top of that 51 billion over 10
No, we
years.
were never going to be at the top of that budget list. But where might we fit in? My question is on defense, and this is actually I'll put it on the pod motion that I'm considering for council. When we look at municipal initiatives, when we look at municipal money, right? How might we tap into or align with the initiative of the federal government? So like,
federal jobs.
What would it mean to request an audience? I don't know what you call it. Request a meeting with somebody in procurement at the Department of National Defense, somebody at a military level, to say, what would you want out of St. John? If we could get ahead of something that would enable your ability to move troops, recruit troops, build things for troops, house things for troops, like whatever it is, like
interesting.
How might we assemble land, assemble infrastructure, guide infrastructure, tap in, like, I don't know. But this is like, we have a reserve area, we have the artillery regime, we have HMCS Brunswicker for naval here. So there is a military presence.
We have a deep water port.
We have a deep water port.
You're just dropping this on me too. So
I just thought about it today.
That's crazy.
Thought about Gagetown too.
It's like the same amount of money that's there for housing and then for infrastructure. So that's interesting to think, like,
because when Germany needed to hit their NATO targets, you know what they did?
What?
They spent a ton of money on infrastructure.
Right.
And they retrofitted a bunch of important bridges and things like that to be able to hold military equipment. If you got to throw a 70,000-pound tank on a bridge, it may not hold.
Oh, good. So let's get the Harbor Bridge under construction again. As tanks.
No, the next one's Reversing Falls Bridge. I think that's the one we need to go after next.
For the tank deployment.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Listen,
it's
I have
hard
no clue.
to imagine. That's just like,
I have no clue, but I know that that's where the money is, and that's where the future is.
And it's probably where the money is going to be more scrupulously spent. Like they're not going to be as worried about it. Like they're probably going to go and hyper barrier up all the housing and infrastructure stuff like they always do. But I bet you with
a bunker in every apartment building.
I bet
chicken
you
in every pot and a bunker in every apartment building.
It's always the way. It's like, how did they ever mobilize this war so quickly? But yet they've totally ignored housing for 50 years. It's like, we are capable. So yeah, okay, I fully support your go get that defense money for St. John.
I just don't know. I look at it and I'm like, okay, infrastructure is going to be helpful for St. John because we always get some money out of the federal government. We've had three major investments.
We have in our time. It's been amazing.
Ashburn Lake Interchange. Oh, that was provincial.
That's provincial. Our housing stuff. That was $9 million to get us to a place that we would have.
Yeah. But then also the homelessness response piece. Yes. We're the only city to get that here. I think all three major cities got housing accelerated money. I think Miramichi got housing accelerated money.
We all, NB got some stuff too, despite our little miniature size. It's all good.
Can we give a shout out, like just before we go to federal?
We're sort of bridging
We're bridged that. But before we continue on federal, because what are we at here? We're at 36 minutes. Shout out to Miramichi.
I know. We were there for we went to have a moment, honestly, in the woods. And found a little spook trail on the city in the downtown of Miramichi. There are parks, the ducks.
I thought it was in a movie.
I know.
We drive to Miramichi, and then you're like, let's get some groceries for the cabin. We got Beatrix with us, our little one. And
Tavis and Tack was on the
road. We're going to Tavis and Tack, on the way. And I had to spend some time in St. Wilfrid. But we were like, okay, let's stop in Miramichi, get some groceries. So I get Beatrix out. You're gonna go get some groceries, and I'm strolling. All of a sudden, I'm on Main Street in Miramichi. Everything is lit up. There's all kinds of pumpkins in the lanterns.
Every street light.
And there's all kinds of kids and costumes, and they had shut down Main Street for like a business area, a BIA. I don't know if it was run by the BIA, but all the businesses had set up like booths and setups and decorations, and all the kids were just and parents were just wandering through, and I just showed up just to have a walk with
we did not have a
get out of the car. And anyway, it was really cute. Shout out to them. That was a really good idea. It was really well run.
We found the best cheese place,
Cheese Factory.
Cheese Factory. Oh my gosh, we just finished the cheese yesterday.
Oh man, remember she's got some cool stuff going on.
So cute. So I don't know, like you say, it should be like a Hallmark movie location is what it should be. Yeah.
Is it any surprise that Mayor Lorden, who's a filmmaker himself,
the whole backdrop, that bridge, the river, the fishermen, it was stunning.
And Tavis and Tack, and on the way down, Negwak, and we went.
Oh Negwak was so cool. Burnt Church.
Went through Burnt Church, and it's come a long way up through there.
I've never really traveled up through there, which is shame on me. And now I'm heading up there again in a couple weeks, and I'm so excited again because it's so unknown. I've never driven from Miramichi to Fredericton that way either, which was another adventure through Boys Town and Doketown, and we found our farm stand. We bought some really good sourdough bread and cookies and stuff. Anyway, it was just pure New Brunswick.
Well, it was good. Yeah. So shout out to everybody along the way, the Miramichi, and everybody on the way from Miramichi to Fredericton.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Did the whole triangle.
You're doing a great job. We got lots of notes we're taking down here. Put it that way. Okay.
Back to the budget.
Back to federal.
What else do we know?
Well, Doug Ford's putting us in hot water.
Cuts to luxury taxes on aircraft, boats, and vacant properties. I didn't think you were going to like this.
I don't like it. Geez, you should be double taxing vacant properties. But here's the thing. Here's what I've heard, and I cannot confirm. So this looks bad, right? If you just want to be a first take, kind of hot take kind of person, you look at this and you say, Brookfield Carney is giving a break to his other millionaire friends with all this, not taxing certain luxury items again. What I understand is the juice was not worth the squeeze because it's too hard to enforce. I don't know why it's too hard to enforce. I don't understand that. I can understand from a vacant house perspective, quite hard to enforce. If you have somebody in there 1 month a year, is it vacant? Who's policing that? Because I can tell you, as from a council's perspective, We know that there's 150 plus buildings here in our city that are vacant, but we have a program to monitor them. We spend money on bylaw officers to go by and check on them. The fire department has to go and inspect them. Like
that's all on us. Like, so whatever they're talking about would probably be
federal level.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they would ever enforce a vacant house tax at the federal level. I didn't even know there was one. To be honest, I don't understand that one. If you know why, how, and if this is a good idea or bad idea, please write us. You can see our little banner down there on bottom. We got nbpolipod@gmail.com. You can find us on Patreon. Check us out there. I'm gonna take that banner down now. I didn't even know that was up there the whole time. That's for our Rogers TV people.
Rogers.
I don't know enough about that one, but that's what I've heard a few commentators say, that it was just the government would have needed to really beef up regulations and enforcement to be able to do that. And since they're cutting federal jobs, no way, Jose.
16,000 over 3 years, it said.
Yeah. And they're not firing people as much as they're just not, they're going to buy people out, retirement packages. They're not going to replace people who retire. I mean, what is the federal?
Well, there's obviously a large reconfiguration of lots going on in there. So that will be interesting to see in the days to come and to see what happens with the vote, because they're still not all the way there yet.
Can the NDP really support a budget that has this much of a public sector service loss?
Tax cuts in it? Like, forgive the vacant properties, get it, can't manage. But aircraft and yachts,
I know.
Like, you...
And I think seems a bit weird.
Conservative Carney.
However, Don Davies, the interim leader of the NDP, has been multiple times. He keeps getting pulled in. He's been on the House. He's been on Power Politics. He's been on Canada Land. He's been on like everything. Like, this guy is getting more airtime because everybody's all of a sudden obsessed with what the NDP is going to do.
Yeah, that's the fun. That would have been the fun thing about the Greens having to balance the power in the legislature.
Wouldn't that have been cool, guys? You didn't do it. You didn't do it. Cool. We're not there.
But now they're in the spotlight because this is the challenge now.
So what's interesting about it is his community had a big tragedy around the Filipino community years ago. And it was a huge national attention news type thing. I'm trying to remember the name of the tragedy they named it, and I'm just blanking, so forgive me. But Don Davies' riding had a massive tragedy in the Filipino community. And they put in the budget on page 1, 2 things that the NDP campaigned on. 3 things. Cooperative housing. I don't know what they're doing with cooperative housing. I know I've tried to start cooperative housing. There's no money available to start one. There's no money available to build them, and there's no money available to hire people to live in them, or to get people organized to live in them. So, what do you do with cooperative housing? Wanting it's one thing. Enabling us to do it. I don't know what you're doing, but
telling the bank to do something it never wants.
I mean, the bank doesn't get that. I have 5 friends that all want a pool of resources to buy an apartment building. They're going to look at us and tell us to go pound sand. But they did talk about that. They talked about the clean east-west energy grid that was in the platform of the NDP.
Yep.
And they talked about community center building. So one of the community infrastructure is a separate piece. It's on like the first few pages of the budget. So and they mentioned specifically this Filipino community. It was almost like somebody in Little Party was like, how do we get
NDP?
How do we get Don Davies to refuse to say no to our baby? It's like, the rest of the NDP may choose to abstain or not vote, but like we can't miss Don Davies.
We want him.
And because here's his community mentioned as one of these places where we need to have a community infrastructure,
a sugar
community center,
or like a honey pot,
like pork barreling.
Yeah.
It's pretty fascinating.
Wow. I mean, definitely like putting out your fishing rod to see what happens there.
But they want to build community centers.
How many more days? How many more days?
I think they have 4 days of debate they have to do.
Well, next week we'll know.
I guess Pierre Poilievre missed his opportunity to put an amendment into the budget today. Like he just messed up. That's the rumor today.
Hilarious.
And now the Bloc had their chance because they're the second biggest party, and so they get the first crack at amendments, and now they have to debate the Bloc's amendment for 2 days.
You cannot. That is so humiliating.
Apparently, he really messed up. Yeah, he got so carried away with comments that he lost his time to be able to introduce an amendment. Don't quote me on that. We're on November 6th. I just saw the headline about it, so I got to go read some more. But
it's up to the minute here.
Something happened.
I can't wait to read more about that. Well, how are we doing here? 45, 6?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, I am dying to talk about Mamdani because I literally woke up, I feel like on purpose, about like 5 minutes after he was announced as the winner of the New York City mayoral race. And I'm just falling in love with this story even more and more. I read about it because, basically he was forced down Democrats' throat, right? Like they did not want him to be the nominee on their camp. So he was a part of two parties, both that and the Working Families Party. So,
and he's a member of the legislature.
Yeah, it was New York. He was a Assemblyman, and he's
excuse me.
Essentially, both of his parents were politically active, and he was sort of raised that way, basically.
Yeah, Muslim man.
Yeah, Muslim. But this worker party thing was interesting because it's like you could vote for him in two different ways, like either under the Democratic flag or under this Working Families flag. And it's the first time I've heard this scenario sort of happen, and maybe it's common in the US.
I don't know. I've never heard of it.
Maybe it is, but I think it's this like very interesting sign of our generation starting. And listen, he's younger than me, and he's around
34,
33, yeah.
33, yeah.
To start to take some of these roles, and it's almost like shocking to us as a generation because it just has seemed so out of reach. And even when there has been people in our age group kind of there, they haven't been like this. Like
the milk toast.
They were just like you feel like they're carbon copies or downloads of like that same generation that came before, which is totally fine. I'm really desperate for there to be actually something different in politics. And it's the first time I've been listening to someone and been like, oh my God, it's like him. I thought that about AOC. Then she's been all kind of like fell into a lot of what I feel I fell into too when you actually start doing it. You just fall into the system and go, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to fix this. And it's overwhelming and I can't do this. And I see him and I'm like, I see where he's just won. And I remember that feeling. And it's like, oh, he has so much hope right now. Is it going to get dashed and destroyed? Or is it going to get like uplifted and move us into some new phase of politics? Like, I'm so interested to see what happens.
How is a democratic socialist going to make major policy reform in the capital of capitalism?
This is it.
I don't understand.
But like it's also like one of these things where he could just throw it all out and start over. Like maybe, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean,
will he fall into the same traps
the one
that AOC did?
I don't know if AOC fell into the trap, but I think she's like us in the sense that she came into the Democratic Party as a massive change agent while the establishment was still quite powerful. Now the establishment has been taken out back, kicked in the punched in the face, and then shot.
Well, you can tell because they're all over the place. It's like Bernie and her over here, Gavin Newsom's over here. There's a bunch of them all around the middle.
The Biden team is gone, evaporated. Kamala Harris, we don't even know where she went.
Yeah,
like it's
wrote a book.
That's the establishment Democrats. They're gone. And here we have the same thing, right? Like you talk about here, it's just like in New Brunswick, you have like 12 young people involved, 12 people under the age of 50 that you can potentially name off that are involved in provincial and municipal politics. I know there's a lot more at the municipal level, but like even for us,
not that many.
And most of them are not trying to make massive efforts and change. They're just trying to do a good job. They're trying to do a good job. Yeah. They're just trying to get reelected, or they're not out there with axes to grind. Like we had axes to grind, we had fields to sow, and stuff we wanted to see changed, and we lost.
We did.
And we kept losing. I know that.
Get it. It's like that's not where we're at right now. And like New York, the makeup of New York is younger. They got the vote in a crazy way.
Yeah, the biggest voter turnout ever in New York history.
Yeah, I guess it's 1969. I did hear him speak this morning on that one.
Oh, there was a
turnout
one in
percentage-wise, because there was not as many people, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, biggest turnout ever.
So in 50 years, that's cool.
Yeah. Crazy. And 45% of men under 35 voted for him. There's this huge fear.
And that's a big deal, because what they're saying about men my age is that we're becoming more and more conservative. And I don't blame them, because these mainline parties don't have anything to say to us.
But that's where that breakthrough feels like it happened in a way for him.
Yeah.
Because it's been skewing hard friggin' right here in Canada as well, folks. Majorly.
Oh yeah, the Conservative Party, the reason they got so close to the Liberal Party was because of me. my voice.
And we're hearing it from younger folks too, in my kids' generation, like high schoolers. So it's really scary. And so this breakthrough again for me is like, oh man, okay, there's hope that there are these people out there that it is not about like all the stuff conservatives and liberals and Democrats and Republicans have made it about. It's about the inequality between rich and poor. So all this like left and right nonsense is not what it's been about. And it's like he busted through that. I love it.
I heard some people talking about how he did that. How did he bust through? How did he get there? Two things. Major message discipline.
Yes.
On 3 topics. Affordability was all over all 3.
Yeah.
So whether he was talking about state-run grocery stores, which by the way, you say men my age voted for him. One of my guys on my team working on job sites came in one day. He's like, "Well, I don't know. What do you think about that Mamdani?" And I'm like, I won't say his name, but I said, "Man, like, I don't know. I've been hearing stuff. He's big. He's getting lots of people at rallies, but it's like, so was Trump.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't put much stock in rallies. They can get all kinds of fools to show up to something if they're all riled up about it." So I said, I don't know. I was like, I don't know about those state-run grocery stores. Like that was his sticking point. And I was just like, yeah, but man, look, you take the profit out of grocery chains. What do you have left? 2 things, in my opinion, that could happen that are good. So Galen Weston, right? Let's take the Sobeys. Let's take the Canadian equivalent. Hopefully no one's going to sit here and try to say that there's no money in groceries. Okay, we got multiple families making billions of dollars, running brick and mortar grocery stores. Okay, making money, they're doing well, billionaires. All those billions of dollars, all the investors that are in this, what happens when they can't invest in grocery profits? They're going to take their money somewhere else.
Absolutely.
And if all we did was take the profit motivation out of groceries and housing, what's left is manufacturing, agricultural, and forestry. Wouldn't it be cool if we had billions of dollars rushing in to do work in those industries? Because that's what we need done, and that's the stuff the federal government's trying to do. So I have no problem with state-run grocery stores.
No, absolutely. You know what? The point he made too, which was absolutely true. He's like, 2 million New Yorkers, that's a quarter of the city, are on SNAP benefits. Do you not think that every single grocery store that exists in the city is not going to experience a severe fallout because of that? And especially the small ones. The big ones are going to be fine, but all those small businesses are going to be absolutely screwed over. So like, no, you invest in those small businesses as, state run. I'm guessing the model more likely will be state supported
or municipal
funded, or whatever.
Could be a crown corp, or like a municipal crown corp.
Their infrastructure bureaucracy wise is wild. Like they have a department, they have a deputy mayor of health, they have a deputy mayor of education,
and they have big mayor powers.
Yes,
they don't have to give much care about what the state does.
No,
they're the tail that shakes the dog, those big cities.
Exactly. It's wild. So they have it's a whole country. It's a
country. But the other one was childcare.
Yeah.
And it's just like, we did that a decade ago.
Yes.
We started doing $10 a day childcare, 4 years ago.
Yeah. And the Finns have done the baby boxes for years.
So it's baby box. You shoving babies in boxes?
No, yeah. Like the idea that you are like giving a parent a safe place for your child to sleep with all these essentials, and when a baby's born,
right?
They do it in Finland.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and so like people who are in poverty or have aren't buying cribs have a space for their infant. It's really sweet. Anyway, it's like, I swear to God, Miss Rachel and Mamdani have me crying every day right now. And the Alzheimer's Society too.
Miss Rachel's all over Palestine.
Amazing.
Yeah, no, I am interested to see where the Democrats are going to tack to.
I just hope he doesn't get it. He's interesting than AOC in one way because he is at the top. Like he has that power. She's in the midst of a whole mess in the White House and in Congress. So
it's shut down right now. She can't do her job. So I don't know, like there's people on the right that I think would do a good job and get some things done. There's some people on the left that but most of the time it's because like there's a Republican down I follow, and I'm blanking on his name. He's a pastor. He is adamant.
Texas guy.
Yeah, he's a Texas pastor, and he is the most outspoken anti-Christian in government type of guy.
But a big Christian.
He's a firm believer. He is a pastor of a church. He knows his theology very well.
Yes.
real lily white looking dude too, right? Looks like he just came off the golf course and probably has a trust fund. But
he's a Mamdani in his
ways. But
ways.
he does not want the church in politics.
No.
And he is constantly hitting them over the head about the Gospels and what it says about that. So there is this interesting dynamic happening in the States where you see there's a group of people on the right incredibly outspoken against the wealthy.
This is Candace Owens. This is former Charlie Kirk apparently was I'm down on Candace Owens rabbit hole too, on like how the right is separating from the right, because she's freaking out since this Epstein file thing didn't happen. Gaza thinks just anyway, she can be extremely problematic. Listen, do not co-sign her, but like there is fractioning that, and it's happening in real time. It's really interesting to watch.
And then here in Canada with the Conservatives, it's like, holy smokes, Carney may not be hitting home runs on all this stuff, but Pierre Poilievre can't even get out of the basement.
I feel like you can like watch across the US with binoculars and be like, they're gonna lose fans as we watch their stuff dissolve into the mess that it is. Because Poilievre and everybody could just kind of like sneak by and avoid all that chaos if they just shut up.
Oh man, but when you hear Poilievre, a few weeks ago, he couldn't get up beyond that story where he called the leadership of the RCMP disgraceful and that Justin should be put in jail. It's like Justin should be criminalized for what he did, was what he said on this podcast. That sounds just like Donald Trump saying lock her up.
Yes.
So it's like, what do you want to do? You can't get out of here, Paul. Like Pierre, like you had a chance when you lost your seat. You seem to have some level of amenability and realization that you did something that didn't work. Like you blew a massive lead. And I think now he's tacking to try to hold on to his leadership.
Yeah.
But that like shows grasping, though. But that shows how weak the ideological underpinnings are of the Conservative Party right now, because they're so formulated in Alberta. Like that conservative style out of Alberta and the prairies, you could say, not BC.
No.
Not Manitoba.
Alberta,
not Ontario.
Our poor friend Nitty just got doxxed by an MLA or whatever they're called there.
Really?
Yeah, it was a bizarre story. You can go on. She was a guest on here. On her TikTok, said something about one of these folks who are trying to put in anti-cancel culture legislation. Yeah. So don't look at my old tweets and don't look at my character and bar me from the party. And then somebody on somebody's wife who's an MLA, or I don't know what they call them, said MLAs. She lives around the street from me and put it on her Instagram stories. So now Nitty's off the internet again. It's just like Alberta is messy.
Yeah.
Messy. And that's like what we could be dealing with if Poilievre ever became as ballsy as Danielle Smith.
Well, Danielle Smith's been interestingly, she's been giving Carney a lot of latitude because she wants a pipeline bill. She wants a pipeline bill.
But you believe it, the second that he doesn't follow through or he doesn't go her way, it'll be
separatists. Back, baby. We're separated.
Anyway, I think we're
we're getting there. Anyway, this was a catch-up week. There's been a lot going on. We wanted to. So the questions is what are the NDP going to do? How do the NDP come back to relevancy? Yeah, they've got some provincial power, but the federal NDP have a long way to go. Are they going to be hijacked by all of the same sort of woke distractions? And again, I'm not anti-woke, but
so weird.
But spending our time trying to thread the needle on lifestyle, like permissiveness and what we're okay with and who we're elevating and what types of policies of types of people we're elevating to get them into jobs.
Leave everybody alone.
They're a waste of our time right now. We've got fires at four ends. Canadians don't want to hear it. And if the NDP tack that way, I don't know what we're
just think they have such an opportunity to be housing champions, affordability champions.
This is the thing. Carney's leaving the net wide open.
Yes.
He has come all the way to the right.
Dunk on that luxury tax.
And where they go will be anybody's guess.
But no one ever listens to our political advice, so it's fine. We'll just say it into the abyss and see what happens again.
We'll tell you the story show when we get there. Got to say it a bunch. Anyway, guys, it's been a great week.
Thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you for your support, Patreon supporters. We love you. Please, if anybody knows something about that luxury tax, educate us. I don't even know where to go to find out.
No more yacht tax? I'm getting yacht, I guess.
Okay.